I'm Jasmine Moradi, and you are listening to the Power of Audio, Science, and AI. My guest today is my new friend, Geoffrey Stern, the founder of Voice Express, an early pioneer of using voice of things and on-demand media to drive commerce. Today, 26 later, with multi-patents in his toolbox, Geoffrey's products have been used around the world in voice-enabled toys, sentiment expression, photo imaging, direct mail, packaging, and point of sale, to name a few. The company is most known for being the exclusive provider of Build-A-Bear Workshop, where they have shipped over 50 million electronic sound devices, enabling consumers to express their emotions and put a smile on the faces of young and old. Geoffrey is currently launching Connect, a smart speaker in print that will enable brands to engage their clients through an interactive voice experience in direct mail, point of sale, and at the magical moment of unboxing. He's also working on launching Voice Gift, the first voice gifting platform that will create a new way to gift and put meaning and emotion back into gift-giving experiences. In this episode, Geoffrey and I are going to discuss the ins and outs of why voice triggers emotions and how brands can use voice experience to build stronger emotional connections with their customers. With that, Geoffrey, I welcome you and thank you so much for joining us.
Jasmine, thank you so much for having me. This is very exciting. I don't know if one podcast is enough to cover all of those wonderful things you described.
I'm great to hear. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've never been busier. This last 9-10 months have just been very creative for me and very, I wouldn't say stressful. They've been the absolute opposite. It's just been an amazing time. I think for all of the areas that I'm in, if anything, they haven't been disrupted. They've been enhanced and accelerated.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that. Why? So first, let's begin. Looking back in the mirror, what was it in your motivational drive and the curiosity as a boy that brought you to becoming a tech entrepreneur?
Well, I think I always loved tinkering. I always used to love to watch construction and working with my hands. And so after I graduated college and I went into finance and research, I realized very quickly that I didn't want to be evaluating the forest, but I wanted to grow a seedling into a tree. And so I'd like to say I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I'm actually more like a dog with a bone because I've picked one technology, one space, in this case, voice, and I've really stuck with it for many, many years. But what unites it with the little boy in me is this kind of enjoyment of creating stuff, tinkering with it, and most importantly, just loving when you see your product in the hands of a consumer and see how they react with it and use it in novel ways.
That's lovely. And then let's go to the story behind then Voice Express. It began when your brother said to you, what would happen if you send a bouquet of flowers along with a cassette? Share with us the whole story. And of course, cassette is not available today like then.
You might have to put an asterisk in the podcast and explain what a cassette is. But in any case, this goes back over 20 years, and my brother was a party planner. And, you know, talk about someone who understands people sharing the spirit and the emotions of the moment. And he said, as you say, wouldn't it be cool if you could go into a flower shop and you could record a message and they could record it onto a cassette or tape and they could ship that with the flowers. And I said, okay, so you're probably not going to go into the store. This was just at the beginning of toll-free numbers. 800 Flowers is a company that we have here in the States. I'm sure they they have Interflora and Teleflora in Europe. And I said, you'll probably do it over the phone. It was even before the internet. And I said, and they're probably not going to record it onto a cassette. It'll go into one of these new chips that are coming out that can store and play back audio. But the kernel of the idea was there. And funnily enough, you mentioned that I'm working now on a voice platform for gifting. 25 years later, I'm still driven by the same concept and vision of, wouldn't it be cool if people could actually express the thought behind a gift rather than leave it as an afterthought?